So today what we're going to do is we're going to be learning how to subtract integers. And what I'm going to try to do is connect what we already know about addition with integers, and hopefully that will help make sense as we try to subtract integers. First thing you're going to do is you're going to complete the do now. You're going to hit the pause button and then start again so you can correct your answers. So go ahead and hit the pause button now. All right, you can go ahead and correct your answers for the do now. And if at any time I move forward too quickly, just hit the pause button. So like I mentioned earlier, we already know how to add integers. We know that when the two numbers have the same sign, like they're both positive or they're both negative, you just add them together. Addition acts like addition. We also know that when we have different signs, like a positive and a negative, that the addition problem kind of acts like a subtraction problem. And so today what we're going to do is talk about how subtraction of integers is connected back to addition of integers. So by the end of the class, you should be able to subtract integers and solve problems using subtraction. So we know that when we subtract a positive number, the value decreases, right? That's been the same thing since elementary school. When we subtract like regular, we know that the value decreases. If we show what 8 minus 5 looks like, so we start here, we go to 8, and then minus 5, and we end at 3. So what do you think is going to happen if instead of subtracting 5, if we subtract negative 5 instead? And will the value still decrease or will it increase? So hit the pause button right now while you respond to that, and then unpause to check your answer. So again, your answers might be different. It's not a right or a wrong thing. One thing you might have said is that we know that subtracting a regular positive 5 decreases the number. And so you might have said that subtracting a negative 5 might increase the number. So if we draw a picture of what 5 minus negative 5, if we draw a picture of what 8 minus negative 5 looks like, again, we start here at 0 and we go to 8 first. And subtracting 5 brought us backwards 5 places. So subtracting negative 5 might make us go forward 5 places. So if we think about what other problem equals 8 with 8 and 5 equals 13, that would be just regular old addition. 8 plus 5 equals 13. So 8 plus 5, we start at 0, we go to 8, and then plus 5, and we get to 13. So the 8 minus negative 5 and the 8 plus 5 number lines, so this one and this one, they look the same. So 8 minus negative 5 and 8 plus 5, they both equal 13. What number stayed the same? The 8 stayed the same. The subtraction sign changed to addition. And instead of subtracting negative 5, we added 5, and those two numbers are opposites. So when we started with 8 minus negative 5 and rewrote it as 8 plus positive 5, we got the same answer. So we kept the first number the same. We changed the subtraction sign to addition and added the opposite of the second number. Now, for some of you, that might be enough, and you might think, okay, I don't need to keep going. If that's true, you can always skip ahead And there are some extra practice problems on the last couple of pages. I would recommend that you stick with me though, because subtracting of integers is pretty difficult. So if we practice again, so we have 7 minus 4 equals 3 because we decreased 7 by 4. So then 7 minus negative 4 equals 11 because we increased by 4. So 7 minus negative 4 is 11. So does 7 plus 4. So 7 minus negative 4 and 7 plus 4 give us the same answer. So 7 minus negative 4, on the number line we go to 7. And then subtracting negative 4 is the same as adding positive 4. We know that 9 minus 1 equals 8 because we decrease 9 by 8. So then 9 minus negative 1 must equal 10 because we're increasing by 1. So 9 minus negative 1 is 10. So does 9 plus 1. So 9 minus negative 1 is the same as 9 plus 1. If we draw 9 minus negative 1 on the number line, we start at 0, we go to 9, and then subtracting. Remember that adding a negative 1 would bring us backwards. So subtracting a negative 1 is going to bring us forwards. So now we're going to practice rewriting the subtraction problem as addition problems. So 0 minus negative 3, you're going to rewrite that as an addition problem. You're going to go and hit the pause button, and you're going to fill in these 3 and the number lines, and then correct your work. So hit the pause button now. So here you go. You can check your answers. What I'm really focusing in on is that you can understand what a subtraction problem and that an addition problem can equal the same answer, and how we're changing the subtraction to addition and using the opposite of the second number. So subtraction expressions can be written as addition expressions by changing the subtraction sign to addition and adding the opposite of the second number. So far, we've only looked at problems where the first number is positive. Let's check to see what happens if the first number is negative and see if anything is different. So we said earlier that subtracting positive numbers makes the answer smaller. What happens if we subtract a negative? So the answer increases. So negative 4 minus negative 1 means that we're going to go 1 greater than negative 4. If we think about what number is 1 greater than negative 4, that's negative 3. So if we use negative 4 and 1 as an addition problem, so negative 4 and 1, that also equals negative 3. So if we put it together, negative 4 minus negative 1 is the same as the addition problem, negative 4 plus 1. They both equal negative 3. So it really doesn't matter that the first number is negative. Subtracting this negative number is like going up 1. The reason is because if this was adding a negative number, we would go down 1. So here's another example. So we know that subtracting a negative number is going to do the opposite of subtracting a positive number. So we know that subtracting a positive 4 would make the answer 4 smaller. So subtracting a negative 4 would make the answer 4 larger or 4 bigger. 4 larger than -5 is -1. So -5 minus -4 as an addition problem would be -5 plus +4. And you would still get the same answer. So here's -5, and then minus -4, you would go 4 bigger. If you model this subtraction problem, here's -5 plus 4, and you'll see that the two number lines are the same. So you're going to hit the pause button. You're going to rewrite each of these as addition, and then you're going to answer them. And you can use the number line if you want to, but also if you don't need to, you don't have to. Okay. So you can go and check your answers. This is what it looks like when you rewrite them as addition problems, and then I put the sum down below. So all of the problems so far have had us subtracting a negative number. And in that case, we rewrote the subtraction problem as an addition problem using the opposite. And so we're going to check out what happens if the second number is a positive number, like -4 minus 9. So we know that taking away a 9 makes the answer smaller. So this question up here is really asking what number is 9 smaller than -4? Okay, so if we're here at -4 and we go 9 smaller, we're going to be off the number line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9. And this is the same answer as -4 plus -9. That also equals -13. So we know that subtracting a regular 9, a positive 9, makes it 9 smaller. And so that's what we do is we have -4. We go 9 smaller than that, all the way down to -13. So what about -1 minus 5? So what about -1 minus 5? We know that subtracting a positive 5 makes the answer smaller. And so what number is 5 smaller than -1? Right? So we're here at -1. We go 5 smaller. We end at -6. So -1 minus 5 is -6. And -1 minus 5 is -6. So 6 minus 8 is the same as 6 plus -8. So what number is 8 less than 6? That would be -2. So just like before, you're going to go ahead and hit pause. You're going to rewrite these subtraction problems as addition problems, and then also write down the answer. All right, so here they are. The subtraction problems get rewritten as addition. Here are your sums. And so if we try to summarize this, when I subtract with positive and negative numbers, I will rewrite the subtraction problem as an addition problem. And then I'll use the opposite of the second number.